Hello, everyone. My guest today is Shawn Cadeau. He oversees the execution of Vena's global growth strategy, managing customer relationships, and leads the company's executive leadership team. Before taking on the CEO role, he was Vena's chief operating officer, responsible for the company's sales, marketing, services, and customer success teams. They are playing in the enterprise budgeting, planning, and revenue forecasting space. Shawn, are you ready to take us to the top?
Okay. Hi, Nathan. It's nice to meet you.
So you have two things working for you. Toronto's hot, and so is billing related software and FinTech. So you're best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, definitely. We love being headquartered here in Toronto, Canada. Also, our space is a pretty exciting one right now. We're really seeing a lot of new opportunities in the marketplace.
So tell us more about the company. What do you guys do, and how do you price? Is it pure play SaaS?
Yeah, we're a cloud provider. We sell on an annual subscription basis, and we provide budgeting, planning, and forecasting software for companies anywhere from 20 million in revenue up to we have a number of customers that are in the Fortune 500 as well.
Oh, that's great. And just give me a general sense. I'm sure you have a lot of different cohorts, but generally speaking, what's the average customer pay you per month or per year?
Yeah, our customer annual recurring revenue is between 50 and 100,000 per year. And then we also have professional services that handles some of the more complex implementations and process automation work.
If you look at a cash basis over the past 12 months, what percentage of the cash you collected was professional service versus true recurring?
Oh, we're the majority of our revenue that's coming in is software, cloud-based subscription revenue. Early on, or in the first couple of years, the company had more of an even split. It was actually a little more weighted on the professional services side, but we've made that transition right after the first couple of years, and we're definitely a cloud SaaS.
And when was that year one, Shawn? When did you launch?
Yeah, Vena's been around for 7 years. So we're the youngest provider of software in our space, but we are the fastest growing company with our annual recurring revenue doubling year over year.
That's great. And give me a sense of what you've scaled to in terms of total customers using you.
Yeah, we're approaching 500 customers now, which we're pretty excited about. And focusing on customer success and customer satisfaction is the key enabler that's helping us, bring new customers on board. We see getting customers live being really successful with the product, and then the financial world, CFOs, directors of FP&A, they do connect and they do talk. And that kind of word of mouth is really helping drive new sales for us, in addition to our marketing and sales efforts.
And Shawn, 500 customers at that minimum ACV of, call it 50 grand, right, puts you at about 25 million bucks a year, or about 2 million a month on the low side. You said you go up to 100 grand too. Is that accurate? You're above 25 million in ARR at this point?
Yeah, that's correct. As a private company, we don't get into the actual details of exactly what our annual recurring revenue is or our total revenue, but it's definitely north of what what you said there.
That's great. So look, a lot of companies I have on, they're in the 80 to 90 range, and I always like to ask the question. It's a big metric. What year do you think you passed 100 million in ARR?
Oh, it's a great question. We're on the trajectory right now. We're sticking to our strategy and our game plan, and we do expect sometime in the future, something like an IPO could definitely be in the cards for Vena, and that kind of revenue range on the annual recurring side is definitely the ballpark for that. So we're looking to do something potentially in the 3 to 4 year range.
Got it. Good. So we'll call it 20, kind of 21, 22-ish, something like that.
No, absolutely much more. Absolutely higher than that. But I don't want to, like I said,
No. Sorry. 2021, 2022.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of the timing of the
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion there. Yeah, absolutely. That we want to just continue to execute our strategy and focus on a world-class customer experience for our customers, and continuing to enhance and develop our product. We think we have a great product today, but we're really excited about where we're taking it in the future.
That's great. And I want to get more into kind of how you're driving this growth in terms of land and expand, but I want to make sure everyone has a clear understanding of what the product does first. So can you tell us specifically how someone inside of one of these organizations is using you?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned before, it's cloud-based software. It's a centralized database that exists in Amazon Web Services environment. We're able to connect to their source systems like their NetSuite or their Oracle or their SAP, maybe their Salesforce or their marketing automation system. We bring in the data. in real time into our centralized database. And from there, we have a workflow engine, and we can add all the process and the rules and the reporting to automate a process like your annual budgeting and planning, as well as your reporting. Because once you've locked down a budget, and you've got all the routing, the rules, and the reporting, you want to then report your actuals versus your budget. And so that becomes an automated process. So finance is no longer pulling data and trying to create these reports on a weekly or monthly basis. All of that reporting is automated, and they can spend time analyzing the data and getting key insights into their business.
What's your source of truth, though, there, Shawn? So if you're pulling from like NetSuite and these things, a lot of these things might be dependent on salespeople updating a closed deal. And that's potentially, if you're pulling that data, how you see, revenue coming in. But what's the source? What's the key source of data on the actual revenue collected? What are you plugging into?
Yeah, so we'd be plugging into, in that case, the ERP is usually the final source of truth inside an organization, and we're using that data as the primary source. So that's one of the benefits of Vena is instead of having spreadsheets floating around your organization where everybody's got different information. I may have one version of a spreadsheet, somebody else may have another. We're dealing with a centralized database and a whole template-based system. So everyone is actually looking at the same data, and we're just controlling access and permissions to that information, but it essentially provides a single source of the truth, tying back to your core system in real time.
David at ExpensePy has built something special in this space, but it's been bottoms up. The kind of verbiage you're using with me and the positioning sounds to me like you're much more top down. Sell directly to the CFO and then go down. Is that accurate?
Yeah, our primary target is usually the directors of FP&A, and then of course.
What is that? What's FP&A?
Financial planning and analysis. And so that's the person who leads kind of the budgeting and planning cycle inside an organization. And they're involved in it. They usually lead the opportunity with us, but the CFO is definitely involved because this is a strategic cloud-based platform that they're adding on top of their ERP or their other core systems. So it's very important. It's a tool that they're going to use on a daily basis.
And if your year one ACV is between 50 and 100, as a CEO kind of leading the organization, what are you comfortable spending to acquire these folks?
So we have a pretty healthy, CAC payback and a great LTV to CAC ratio for us. And so, typically in our business, people are looking to get somewhere in a 12-month payback.
Is that where you are?
To create, and we're in that range. We're in the 12 to 18-month range.
That's good. So it's fair to assume you're totally willing to spend between 50, first year ACV on acquisition.
Up to first year annual recurring revenue to acquire a customer, and we have a very healthy customer retention rate. Where we're actually able to grow our business on an annual basis with our existing base. And so then on top of that, we're adding a lot of new customers, and that helps contribute to growing our annual recurring revenue 100% year over year.
What is, when you look at net revenue expansion, right? It sounds like you have very healthy expansion revenue, more than makes up for any gross kind of lost revenue. What is net revenue retention year over year?
Yeah, our revenue retention is about 104% consecutively for the last couple of years.
Congratulations. That's not easy to do. And what's driving most of the expansion? Are they adding seats or adding on additional features? What are your inside sales folks using?
Yeah, it's a combination of two things. They're either adding and expanding a number of business users. They're adding because we have a great success rate in end user customer deployment. This is where a lot of our competitors might fall down, and so they're able to get more people in the business involved in using our product, and because of our primary Excel-based interface, and that's comfortable for people. And so expansion of seats is one, and the second area is they're adding additional processes, which is another unique differentiator for Vena. A lot of our competitors provide one-point solution, and that might be this budgeting and planning solution. We definitely do that. The majority of our customers use us for that. But we also do things like the financial close process and month-end close, which is something really a controller leads inside of an organization. So it's a single product or a single platform to automate all of your financial processes that you need to do on top of your ERP. And so that will be things like your reporting and analytics, your month-end close, your budgeting and planning. And there's a number of other solutions that our platform provides. And we have templates and process and best practices that comes out of the product or out of the box with our product that enables us to go well beyond just budgeting, planning, and reporting.
We're running out of time here. So last few economics questions before we close with the famous 5. What do you assume lifetime value is in months and in dollar figures?
Oh, off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. I would guess it's in the, upwards north of 500 million. Well north of that.
You mean 500,000?
Sorry, 500,000.
I was going to say, I'm in the wrong business. I'm getting into financial ERP. I'm getting into the ERP space.
Yeah. Thank you for the correction. You're right.
That's okay. So 500 grand in what, 4 or 5 years, something like that?
With the 50 to 100 that I gave you earlier, you see 5 to 10 years for a customer lifetime. And, you do get changes of CFOs and things like that can cause people to leave if they've had familiarity with another product in the past.
Yeah. What's team size today?
We're 220 employees.
All Toronto?
No, about just under 200 based here in Toronto.
Okay. And where's everybody else?
So we have them some in throughout the US. And then we also have an office in the UK as well. And then we're going to market internationally through some strategigic partnerships too.
Great. And funding. I want you to tell me you've bootstrapped this, but I'm guessing that's not the case. How much have you raised?
Well, we took 2 years ago, Vena took the first round of major institutional investment. It was $30 million raised from Santana Growth Partners, and they're a member of our board now and a great partner for us.
And that's all the capital, 30 million, Series A, done.
There was some stuff before that. I think technically it would be a Series B that was done, and there were some smaller based investors and angel that occurred in the previous years. I don't have the exact figure, but it wasn't a major round like that one. That was, got it.
But total in is what, like maybe like 31, 32 million, something like that?
Yeah, so I'm going to estimate it in the 30 to 40 range.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, let's wrap up here with the famous 5, Shawn. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Okay. Well, it's an old one, but I've read it. I believe I've read it 4 times now. I keep going back to it and I love it. And that's Crossing the Chasm.
You know what? As you were describing that,
as before.
I was going to say, as you were describing that, I'm going, I can tell this is going to be a Jeffrey Moore reference, and it's going to be that beautiful orange cover with the beautiful graph. It's a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
The CEO that I'm following the most right now on Twitter and paying close attention to is my wife. She's the CEO of our house, and she's pretty active in social media. That's
great. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
Oh, for building a business. I thought you might ask me more on the personal side. I was going to tell you Spotify, because I just love using that in my downtime.
Your cool factor, Shawn, is going through the roof. Spotify, good.
Thank you.
I'm joking. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Yeah, about 6, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, and what's your situation? Obviously married. Do you have any kiddos?
Yeah, I'm married to my wife, Shannon, and we have a 9-year-old daughter, Avery.
Oh, that's great. And how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 47.
Take us home. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I think the biggest thing is to think big. Being Canadian, I think sometimes we're a little bit more on the conservative side. So thinking a little bigger, and taking a few more risks earlier in life, that's what I tell myself.
Guys, there you have it from Shawn, selling into the directors of finance and planning, started in 2011. Vena Solutions, now 220 people based between Toronto and other remote locations, serving over 500 customers at this point, many of them in the Fortune 500, going over 100% year over year. First year ACV between $50,000 and $100,000, doing north of $25 million right now in ARR. Healthy economics, 104% net revenue retention annually, $50,000 CAC. Totally willing to spend up 1 year, up to first year ACV on acquisition. Again, aiming to really get into that space where potentially going public looks interesting in the next 3 or so years. Shawn, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Nathan, it was great chatting with you.